So it's a dyno morning. Got on the car, went to fire it up. I stayed up in Auckland last night. It was a 3-hour trip. And it actually drove beautifully, perfectly. Get up here this morning, hit the go button, it fires and stops. I've done my oil and water check now. I'm like, we'll check for fuel pressure. And last night when I got up here, in the safety of things, I'm carrying someone else's loom, and I chucked a whole lot of stuff in the boot. And I have identified a problem. I was carrying spare coils and fuel pump and bits and pieces, and the box had moved over and just popped that fuel pump fuse out, causing us a no start situation. I wasn't going to fire the laptop up, but I did now. I've made it to Tune Technic again. I was here just last week. It was a long drive, but I want someone to be able to help the customer if he wants to adjust things that's closer to the customer than me, and someone that's knowledgeable and that I trust. And that's why I come see Dave. Customer's probably about 35 minutes drive and no traffic, 30 maybe. So we're in here. I'm going to do another pre-check. Done one this morning when it didn't go because of the fuel pump fuse. And I think maybe we'll go for a drive with Dave first thing, just so he gets a feel for what it's doing and what we're trying to achieve.
If I'm being...
I upped the line pressure yesterday when I did that.
Yep.
And I'm not, as I said, I'm not sure I actually like it. I'd like a little more line pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
So because this one's a bit different, we're going for a little bit of a drive first. Dave's got to familiarise himself with the car. He's already looked over the map.
I just need my straw hat.
Yeah, mate, you just get looked at everywhere where you're driving this. As I said, I drove across town. Little old lady was waving out to me in her little Honda, going, she's probably going, I used to own one of those.
Yeah. And
the truck driver, he's like, yeah. It's cool, eh? And people in the service station come up here, mate's like, yeah, how's it going? My mate had one of these. Yeah, that noise. I think that's, I don't know what that is. The idle stepper, I don't know whether it's resonating down the intake.
We don't have a exhaust leak?
I don't believe so.
Used to these modern cars with all the sound insulation.
Yeah, and we've got this speedo box.
Yeah.
Which, it's got a cable of course, and the frequency's changing.
Yeah.
It's a bit, the old diff's a bit clunky.
Yeah.
On the old bump stops. We had to do we had to put a bulb back in for the warrant yesterday.
Oh, okay.
How's that? We actually welded up some bits and pieces and did some pushes while we were doing our stuff.
Yep. Yep.
So it was pretty much ready for the warrant.
Trains are shifting well.
Thanks.
Yeah. Your speed profiles are all
Yep. Up to about 100 k's, I've got it right.
Yep.
And up to about 50-60% throttle, I'm happy. Within, you know, a couple of k's, but foot down and over 100 k's, there's something that we want to work on dyno, because I can't legally do that, and you run out of road really fast on this car.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And probably adjust at some point in the speedo, it stops. Because I was hammering down the road the other day, looked down, and I'd lost my speedo. So you're in first? Yep. So it's telling me we're in first. And of course we've got the buttons to confirm the solenoid that's been commanded.
So that's 2.
Yeah, so yes. See, that tried to go back to first when you were shifting through there because there was an unknown in there. So it didn't know where you were. So that was actually it commanded a first and then went to third. So this one's third.
Have we got an issue with the position?
I don't think I can get it any better because there's a lag in that shifter switch. The shifter switch doesn't go directly from, you know, there's a gap in the mechanical functioning of that switch.
Yep.
it doesn't linearly go straight through.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
That noise. Why are there ducks on your side of these roads? There's everywhere I go, there's ducks this morning.
Yes, it's West Auckland, there's ducks everywhere.
It's just weird.
Well, there's a bit of a chuff, chuff, chuff.
The injectors are probably a little bit bigger than they need to be.
So that's D, right? And we're in one?
That is D, that's in
Okay.
first, yep.
And there's a big truck coming, so we're not going to gap it.
So yeah, that's third. So first, both on a second. That one on is third, like we are. And then you've got both off is overdrive, and then there is a lockup, which, so yeah, you've actually, the switch is in overdrive at the moment, so it will allow fourth gear.
How can you see that? I thought it was the other way around.
No, it's the other way around. It's, so yeah, you're clear. I've softened that downshift this morning,
Yep,
just there.
yep, no,
It was shifting just a little bit high in the speed going down this morning, so I've given that a tweak.
Okay, anything else we need to do?
I'm pretty happy. You've got a bit of a feel for it.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
You know, we,
Yeah, no,
Get
it's
on the
good.
dyno,
It's
makes
good.
a noise.
It's good to have a feel for it before we start. Get into character for this.
Into character?
girl. You know, you got to feel it.
You right there?
Exhaust hangs down a little bit.
Yeah, the exhaust hangs down. It's low in the back.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's a bit clunky in the back, because it's so low in the bum. Do you want me to watch as you go up there? Just onto that lip.
Yeah.
You wait.
Maybe it might be just close. We might need to do something.
You look good here. Let me get under here. Yeah, you're good there. Yeah, you're good there. Yeah, you're dipping into the rollers. Yeah, you got like 25 mils. And then you've got another flange coming, which now you've got about 10 mils. But yep, keep coming back. You're going to go up at the front. You've got a flange. You've got about 10 mils, Dave, and there's a flange up 300 mils away. Yeah, you're good. It's gonna go over it. Yeah, you had about 5 mils. Okay. It's your dyno. Look at that. That's awesome. I see you get the good job of tying it down, Jack.
Yeah.
Dave was said it's only an LS the other day when we did the LS, but what's he going to say about a Lexus? Lexus makes less power.
Yeah.
And an auto. It's a nice setup, eh? Really nice.
Yeah, it makes it pretty easy for strapping all sorts on, and then there's the ones that come up from the bottom, so you can really pull it down
Oh, yep.
as well to get more traction and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And
And the exhaust goes straight out on this one, straight into the...
yeah, not down into the floor and out the side like the last one.
Yep.
Then we've also got this chain. When it makes big power, we chuck that on
Oh, yep.
just in case, for added security.
Yeah, don't want them coming off.
No.
That's awesome. Right, we've done our normal base timing check, or double, triple check. We didn't actually change anything. Got a little tiny bit of creep, but it's in the right direction. It's in the retard position, so a little bit of scatter, I think is the right word we use there. But it's consistently going back. We've done a few changes to some injector timing numbers. Dave's got access to some factory dead time numbers, and we're ready to actually start spinning some wheels.
Seat's a bit hollowed out.
It is not the newest of seats, is it? Are you far enough back? Because I can drive in this position and you're certainly not my height. Would you like to spin it back a little bit?
I haven't noticed.
I can't actually reach full throttle though, to tell you the truth. So kicking it down at 100 k's wasn't always ideal. I had to get right on my toes.
In fact, your wooden block.
Yep. And there's dyno mode.
There is. There is.
High dyno mode on the Haltech. Because we're running that auto, and we've got a choice whether we run the lockup on or off as well.
Yep.
I don't know a whole lot about it, sorry.
I think we'll just start by dialing in the slow table, get back to where we were after that injector dead time change, and then we know your timing numbers are pretty safe, so we'll...
Yeah, you put your eyes over it, because you got the map the other day. I sent that map to you.
Yeah.
And I was quite conservative on the timing numbers. Yeah. Considerably conservative.
What I'll do before I start booting it, I'll just put a global trim on that, just so we're starting super safe, and then we can set some noise levels and things before we start really trying to find some grunt. Okay.
Very good. Let's do it. So Dave started off, he's been doing what's known as steady state tuning, where he loads it up, works through each fuel cell and adjusts the mixtures. So watching temperature, watching trans temp, and it's pretty handy to have that dyno mode, isn't it? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, dyno mode is good. Speaking of dyno mode,
we're still in dyno mode. Right. Oh, you can actually change it in there. Yep. A big part of tuning is getting everything set up correctly to begin with. The actual tuning the numbers is probably pretty easy, but all the peripherals, making sure all the other stuff actually works so the tune comes up nice. Now this vehicle's also got a little bit of a noise somewhere in the chassis, and I could hear it driving it yesterday. But Dave's got his knock block on. Looks like it's a Link knock block, is it?
I think it started off as that. It's had a few tweaks.
Oh, you've modified it since?
Yeah.
And I do like the little basic headphones actually, instead of the big earmuffs, noise cancelling earmuffs. You like those little just the earbuds?
Yeah, they work very well.
Yeah.
I'd
never seen that.
I think they're probably genuine Apple
earbuds.
I've never had a problem with them. Yeah, really good.
Really neat way to do it. And then headphones over top.
Yeah.
So Dave can hear the engine, knows that that's absolutely sweet. But I do know that there's a little bit of another noise there for us to look at. You get very switched on to the noises of a vehicle, especially when this one doesn't have a radio. But I know it's not engine, so that makes me happy. That temperature came down wickedly fast, didn't it?
Yeah, got the airflow, eh?
Have you taken out that overall correction at the moment? Are you just applying it to the base map? Or is that correction still in there?
Yeah, it's still in there at the moment.
Okay.
Yep. We're sort of concentrating on the fuel table at this stage.
Yep.
So we're just doing some tidying while we're waiting for the temp to come down, so we'll carry on.
Yep. for a little, you said, for a little engine, it's pretty loud, eh?
Yeah.
Doesn't it howl? This one's louder than the LS.
Is it?
Friday was quite quiet. Like I couldn't hear the LS outside. This one you definitely hear it. And it's 2/3 the size. Way louder.
What mufflers?
What's it doing?
170
170?
kilowatts at the wheels.
170 kilowatts at the wheels? Through a slushy box?
Mate,
That's good, isn't it?
not bad, yeah.
That's really good. 170 kilowatts.
Well, it's about what they do for a standard one. We could probably get a little bit more out of it,
But through it, but that's not normally through a slushy, is it?
lose a bit more.
Manuals normally we make a bit more than that, but autos, I haven't seen an auto at 170. So, because I always run the standard ECU. That's primo, mate. 170. Woo! At 5.4. Woohoo! $171. Looks pretty good. So that's just a run, third gear. And that was out lockup too, wasn't it?
And lock up, yeah.
That run saw us a couple of degrees trans temp increase, so that's sweet as.
Yep.
No complaints there.
Cool. Shall we just, we'll just make sure we get a,
I watch
look
fuel
at the
pressure?
yeah.
I watch the fuel pressure when you do a run.
And shall we throw up injector duty here too?
Good idea.
Just while we're here for reference sake.
Absolutely, because I'm interested to see what we get. Whilst it's not a race car, and I wasn't ultimately worried about keeping duty cycles down, it's kind of silly doing a lot of work in a new ECU with 30-year-old injectors.
Yeah. How fat do you want this as a wide open thing? What do you...
Wherever it makes good power, it's an old Lexus.
Yep.
Factory, they run them way too fat.
Yep.
Like in the 11s, 11.5.
Yep.
I normally find like 12.5-ish is normally about where it wants to be.
Yeah.
And it makes all right power.
Yeah.
The man uses it around Auckland.
Yep.
So he lives in Auckland, he drives around Auckland, and then 6-8 times a year he goes to the drag strip and canes the arse off it.
Yep.
And then putts around Auckland again. So that's what we're trying to do. It's, you know, two extremes really of driving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
good.
top end,
What we'll
make
do-
good power. Where do you normally find an Lexus makes?
Yeah, I mean, if you're shooting straight for power, 12.7, 12.8 normally.
Yep.
But you could go a little bit richer than that and see if the power drops off.
Anywhere there, I'm happy.
Yeah. So what we'll do, let's optimise the timing, and then we'll just go either side with the fuel and just see if it likes it or anything, and then we'll make a call from there.
At the moment, it's pretty much hitting the target in the target table, eh?
It is, yeah.
So we just have to adjust target tables.
Yeah,
and it should
yeah.
be,
Yeah, we're right on target there.
so it should be pretty close.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, where it was hitting peak at 5.5,
Yep.
because I want to allow that for our trans shift too
Okay.
to apply, because we've got to give it enough time up in the
Yeah.
revs to shift before it hits the rev limiter.
Yes.
So we've got to sort of work out shift time and rev limiter, because we don't want it bouncing off rev limiter before it shifts,
Yep.
because if it does that, it'll do damage. So it's got to, as it's coming up, it's got to shift, and then we've got to drop it back into a
Do
good
we know
point.
what sort of RPM delay we have?
No, it's got a millisecond time for shift time. Not a RPM shift time.
Yep. Okay. You're going to watch fuel pressure.
I'll watch
and
fuel
injector
pressure.
duty. Hang on, which screen are we on?
Yep. You're going to make lots of noise. Make it a noise. you just got some more power out of it.
That was just a couple of degrees of timing.
175, 333. Fuel pressure came up to about 300, just over 300.
Came up to
about just over 300
okay.
kPa, and duty cycle was just touching under 50%. Timing in. See when we get to that. Yeah, it's come right up to towards the threshold of our knock limits. You're going to go over there. There we go. You're touching and going over.
Yeah, that's working. So we'll leave it at that for the mo.
So you've dropped the overall thresholds down at the moment.
Yeah, I mean it was crossing over where we wanted it to be. So let's just.
That gives us some safety.
Yep.
And actually the main tune's well away from those knock events anyway. At this point in time.
The main table.
Yeah, because you had to add a lot of timing to get it near to that threshold.
Yeah.
Good. Because you've done all your your steady state in the lower end.
Yep.
You've done a couple of power runs in the higher parts. Are you happy with the fuel table?
Yeah. Yeah, it's 80% done where we need it to be for now.
Yeah. So we do some optimization of some timing.
Yes.
Did we get a fourth gear then? You clipped fourth gear, eh? Or did it clip fourth gear as you backed off? Is it an overdrive?
Yeah, so that was change gear at the top there. It's not in dyno mode.
Yeah, but if you push the overdrive button off, it won't select fourth.
So down is off?
Yes, down at the bottom is off.
So we were talking about that peak shift speed.
Yes.
So we're pretty close there. I reckon if we bump it up another couple of hundred RPM, oh, it's in road speed, isn't it?
Yes, it's in road speed.
So if we bump it up another like 5 or 7 Ks, you'll be about right for your.
Well, the rev limit set at 6.4.
That's 3 to 4. Yep.
So I've actually got the rev limit still quite low. So what's really important is it doesn't bounce off that rev limiter.
Want to do lunch? Yep.
We could actually move that rev limiter up a little bit yet if we wanted to.
So
I was really conservative at 6.4. That's like a factory rev limit.
Yeah, yeah.
And we all know that a UZ will rev harder than that. But it's whether that needs to.
Yeah, I mean at the moment it's laying over before 6.5 anyway.
Yeah.
So unless you want to concentrate on getting some top power up there, I don't know if we need to.
Realistically, that's really good power for an auto, with a UZ with an auto.
Yep.
But of course, if we have it shifting at 6.2, it's too close to the rev limiter, I feel, to get it shifted before it hits 6.4.
Let's bump them both.
So if we can up the rev limit a little bit to give us some safety, but it's still in there because we want it shifted nicely. Oh, we've got flat shifting in here too. Torque management, which I haven't really looked at. Where's the rev limits in this? Oh, yeah, over here. I had a definite shift at 6.4 in the trans. So it has to shift regardless if it gets to 6.4.
I think that's what that was.
Yeah, so we've got
oh, no.
RPM shift point. So if it gets to 6.4 with the RPM shift point, 6.4, it's changing gear.
I don't know then if we shifted because of road speed or 6.4, because I don't think we were at 6.4. We were at more like 5, 6 there.
Okay, so it might have just been in the map.
It's this one. I think we leave that at 6.4, 6.8, and then we need to come up with our
auto shift points.
This one here. So 3 to 4.
Yeah, so it's got a 3 to 4.
We just
170. You're doing 170k now.
We go. Yeah, it's pretty
so
close.
we can actually move that up a little bit.
Yeah, we just go another 7.
basically if it gets to 7,000, 6,400, it's going to shift regardless.
So that'll be good down the strip.
Yeah, and because that should put us peak power 5.5, and so when it shifts it's going to drop it back nicely, isn't it? Keep it in that torque range. Down the strip I don't think he's going to use fourth gear, is he?
No.
But I don't know, is he going to be doing 170 k's an hour down the strip?
Yeah, he might be shifting over the line. If that's the case, we want to hold on to that third.
Well, he's got the button now.
And give it the RPM.
Well, he never, because he never had the button before.
Yep.
But I still think if you've got it in the button mode, overdrive off, it's still not going to shift to fourth gear. What were you trying to prove with that one? Because you just pulled 5 degrees of timing.
5 degrees, yeah.
You pulled 5 out.
Yes, pulled 5
which did
out.
exactly what you'd expect it to do in that situation. I killed some power. And it came back. Actually beautifully, didn't it?
Yeah, it's good. So I can't hear anything, no signs of any knock on there. I'm just trying to maximise our logging before we...
Oh yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's so slow.
It's actually really interesting to watch that 5 degrees of timing, what it actually did to the power. Which shows that we're heading in the right direction with the timing map.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that was with 2.5 degrees more, and it only really made a difference at the top end, didn't it?
Yeah, so we'll be able to dial that into the table, providing we're happy with it.
Well, the top end was extremely conservative. It isn't even at what a factory UZ is at this point in time. Oh, they might hit 19, but they're normally sort of 19 to 22. So we're at the very bottom of that. That was with 5, and you got a couple of knock counts. Same power as the 2.5, so it's pretty close, eh?
Sort of made frictions up there, but
Yeah, it hadn't revved it out that high,
no,
but it was still making plenty of power.
yeah, I mean, I think as
It made heaps of power.
it's over the hill, we'll probably let it fade rich up there.
It's not going to go there very often unless he's at the drags.
For what it is,
That's right.
and it's not, you're better up to hit the next gear.
Yep. Well,
You know,
that was a third gear run.
yeah. Unless it was,
What sort of speed you ran right out? 170,
yeah, 190.
190 k's a third. So he could probably hold it, no overdrive at third gear at the drag.
Yeah,
That'd be about right.
yeah.
A little bit lean.
Was that you that made it stop then? Because
No, but there's no sync errors.
there's no sync errors this time.
No.
Because I don't want to have to try and fix it again because I just fixed it.
No. Shut the old door, we'll carry on, eh?
Yep. Oh, I want my ears. I need my earmuffs.
Yep.
Cool. Go for it. So we just had a random stoppage. We probably should have changed that. I think it was just sort of moving away, and from the signal, from the trigger wheel, oh, the tone wheel. It's moving away from the tone wheel dropping signal. Would start and run, but it wouldn't go at low idle speeds, so new one of those. This is good for the dyno, quick testing, got a genuine one locally. Very good. How was that?
That was a good day. Good
I'm pretty-
result, I reckon.
I think so too. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And how do you find the Haltech with the auto shift?
Top shelf.
You like it, eh?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really good option moving forward. As an all-over package, it's going to come up real nice, especially for the older UZs that all the wiring links are worn out on. Gives us an option.
I mean, what are the other options? There's not too many of them, you know, cost effective, so, you know, it ticks all the boxes, doesn't it?
I've actually already had a man this week ring me, and he's got and he's got a Haltech to do the same thing.
Yep.
So I think there's going to be lots of guys who are going to be watching this stuff, wanting to know a whole lot more. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for your day. That's just absolutely awesome, mate.
No worries. Cheers.
It's the final test drive of the Zephyr. The road is a little bit slippery, so I'm going to be a little bit careful. We have already experienced a little bit of a surprise when the back wheels decided that they wanted to go faster than the vehicle was accelerating. So here's a corner that people have been destroying. Oh look, there's a... You're kidding me. There we go. See, there's a tow truck in getting the car. It's just down from the workshop and people love hitting that fence. You'll see I'm test driving it with no laptop cables. The cable's all curled up there. I'm actually really loving this Haltech setup running the auto. You can just drive it with your foot. That sounds funny, but the way I've set it up, if you want it to kick down out of top gear, then 70% throttle gives it a kick down. I can pretty much choose where and what it's going to do. It's very, very predictable. And I think it's much more predictable than a factory system. The car's smooth and makes really, really good power. I would have liked, of course, to drive it beforehand, but that wasn't an option. And it puts a smile on your face, the power this little engine is making. Absolutely lovely power. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the customer's going to be happy and it's going to continue to be a reliable car in the future. And hopefully we get to go to the drags one day and watch it go down the drag strip. So a bit of a thank you, the guys at Haltech and Haltech support, and they were pretty helpful. Scott, Next Level Motorsport, really helpful with his box. Dave, Tune Technic, for pulling some numbers and spending the day on the dyno with me. And of course, Jason for pulling spanners and Bronwyn for keeping me in line. So, we'll talk to you again soon. Catch you later.